Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Golfing Greenkeeper podcast. My name is Steve Smith, and I'm your host, as I'm sure you're all very well aware, and I really do appreciate you continuing to come back and listen to more fantastic episodes, interviews, and insights that I have lined up for you and for your entertainment and enjoyment. I have another sensational, and I always have to keep saying I have another sensational because they're all sensational. I've got another sensational segment of John Deere Golf Keeper of the Greens ready to go for you, ladies and gentlemen, and I really hope you're going to enjoy it. Now, I have to also let you know that if you weren't at the recent ASTMA Turf Conference in Sydney, where I was down there working with John Deere at their stand, it was great to see so many different faces, people who have been on the podcast, people who listen to the podcast, those of you who are fans and follow me on social media, and those of you who are certainly interested in getting up and learning more about the John Deere equipment. It was fantastic to see so many new faces and so many well-known faces and friends of the podcast. So thank you for coming up and saying good day. I really did appreciate being able to do so, and also showcase who you are on the social media that I was able to do while I was there working with John Deere, which was fantastic. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming up. But what I wanted to say was that you may not have been aware, if you didn't come up and see us, is that we made an announcement, and I put some videos out on socials, but for those of you who don't follow on the social media stuff and you just listen to some of the episodes here, the big news that we had to announce was that John Deere Golf and the Golfing Greenkeeper are continuing our fantastic partnership together with this segment of the podcast, and we're doing it again, ladies and gentlemen. We've extended for another year. We're going right around again. So there's lots more conversations and interviews that will be had as part of this fantastic segment that so many of you out there really love and enjoy listening to, and I find it a great privilege to be able to showcase and talk to the names and the faces and the people working deep within the golf courses right around Australia. And another part of what we're doing is that I've announced that I'll be spreading the wings of the Golfing Greenkeeper podcast into New Zealand. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. So Keeper of the Greens will be branching across the Tasman, and I'm really excited to be able to bring to you some interviews that will be taking the steps and the deep look inside to some of the fantastic golf courses, along with some of the unknown courses over across in the land of a long white cloud, as it's known. So I'm really excited to do that with John Deere's involvement, and it secures Keeper of the Greens for another year. So I couldn't be happier. I know lots of people out there have said congratulations, and it's a big congratulations to John Deere for seeing what the podcast is doing, seeing how far it's going, and just the impact that this is having in our industry in a positive way and an amazing, incredible, connective way like nothing else. So, and I've also got to let you know that without John Deere's help, we wouldn't be doing this on that level, but also their support of the industry, ladies and gentlemen. As you know, and I've said it before, and I will continue to say it, John Deere are committed to our fantastic turf industry. They want to work with you to help you move your game forward together. And that's what's so good about John Deere Golf, is that they want to work with you. The game relies on your team's passion and professionalism, which is why you can trust John Deere Golf for a wide range of advanced equipment and dedicated support. Don't forget, of course, since 1987, John Deere Golf have built a tradition on trust and excellence on golf courses all over the world. Now, when you work where others play, you need a partner you can trust to keep your course in perfect condition. John Deere Golf can help with top quality machines, support forward-thinking technology, and their ongoing commitment to this incredible game of golf. Your local John Deere dealer has everything you need to keep your investment running like clockwork, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure you check out their website at deere.com.au to find your nearest John Deere dealer today and get in touch with them. Find out how you can learn more about their products and what they have on offer, because at the end of the day, it's all about helping you look after your golf course better. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check them out at deere.com.au. Thank you to John Deere Golf. A big thank you from me to John Deere Golf, and also a thank you to you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening, because without all of these connections and the way that it all comes together for this fantastic segment of the podcast called Keeper of the Greens, I wouldn't be able to keep bringing it to you. Without further ado, this is episode number 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. 134. Ladies and gentlemen, John Deere Golf, keeper of the greens, takes a turn and we're going down to the Apple Isle. I love visiting Tasmania. In fact, I love going to other parts of the country that are away from the mainstay areas in golf in Australia that are well known. So we are heading down to the south part of Tasmania, nearby the capital city of Hobart, into a place called Northwest Bay Golf Club. And I have joining me on the podcast Superintendent Brad Palmer. G'day, Brad. How are you, mate?
Hey, Steve, I'm good, mate. Yourself?
Very well, thank you. And, mate, a big thank you for joining me on the pod. I've only had a couple of Tasmanians on, so you are ticking another one off the list, mate. Thank you for joining in.
Glad to be on.
It's great to get an insight for a place that we are now hearing a lot more about, Tassie, but probably still don't know a lot about Tassie. I think we just know about the shiny new toys. Is that sort of how it feels? What does it feel like down there?
Yeah, Tassie's a bit away from the mainland, so you guys probably don't hear it a lot what's going on. So you've probably heard a lot about the new stadium and the new golf courses going ahead, but that's about it, I reckon.
And that's what I mean. Like, we just hear about the shiny new toys. Even if Bugle's doing a little bit of work, I mean, it's probably one of the biggest names, of course, and along with the shiny stuff, and I say shiny all the time because I feel like a kid with these all new things happening. But outside that, I think I'm trying to help peel back the layers and understand what Tasmania has got to offer and what all these new courses are being built from. What's the mainstay down there in the golf landscape? So hopefully you can help us shed more light.
Yeah, well, we've got 7 Mile that's just up and running now. So that's down towards Tasmania Golf Club, Royal Hobart Golf Club, and Llanherne. So they're all in the sort of the airport area.
Yep.
So all the flatlands down there, and that's been built in amongst the sand dunes in there. So I think they've opened up 11 holes, and they're doing just a loop of 11 holes at the moment until they sort of get enough water to finish the last 7 and open the full 18, which I think they're meant to by the end of the year. So that's very exciting.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. And lots more to potentially come. But, mate, we'll learn about all that stuff as we talk about your career and what's happening down there, and you've got a bit more insight than others that we'll learn about along the way, mate. But, Brad, I start off with Steve Super 7, which is short fire or long fire, depending on how you decide to answer these 7 questions. Are you ready to have a little bit of fun?
Yep, let's go for it.
All right, mate. Number 1, sunrise or sunset? What's your preference?
Definitely sunrise. Most of the time I'm asleep by the sunset, so
a true greenkeeper, a true superintendent, mate. That's what we like to hear.
I hate night times for some reason. I just get so bored that I prefer to be asleep than I get up early, get into work. I still get excited about waking up early, so and just watching the sun come up, there's nothing better.
No, it's beautiful. And you guys have some really unique stuff down there as well. It's just and then you get the really long days in the peak of summer, don't you? Because you're so far south.
Yeah, it's pretty much, like 6 o'clock in the morning all the way to 9:30.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, and we've got daylight savings down here as well. So that stretches it out. But at the moment, it's about 8 o'clock to about 4:30, so it's not much daylight at all.
Yeah, and that's right. The flip side happens in winter, so it's it's a different part of the world. I keep learning. I love learning. Mate, number 2, dogs or no dogs allowed on the golf course, and this is your personal preference, not necessarily a reflection of where you're working.
I reckon you've been through my Instagram. You'd know I'm a dog person. Definitely dogs. As long as they're safe dogs, Yeah. I've got 2 big Alaskan Malamutes and I take them down there, and on ladies' days, the ladies love it. And at first they were a little bit scared when they see this 60-kilogram dog come up towards them, but all he wants is a pat. So, no, I'm all for it. And, as long as it's not a competition day, I'll always take them down there. I keep them away, sort of summertime, away from the snakes because they like to chase the wiggle sticks, I call them.
Do you get many wiggle sticks at Northwest Bay?
Yeah, we've had a few, and we just get the snake catcher in because I'm not that daring. They take them away. So, big black tiger snakes mainly.
Righto.
They get you haven't got much time really.
It's a bit like what we have. We used to have pets at Katoomba. We would call them in different parts of the golf course. We had our brown snake over on hole 6. It was bordered by the bush. And we had a copperhead on 12 and a red belly down on 13, mate. Do you have that sort of... It's just funny what you get used to, right?
Yeah, you sort of... you can tell where they're going to be in summertime. They hang around the creeks and the dams a lot because it does get quite dry in Hobart of the summer months. So they stick around the water areas a lot. So you just got to be careful when you're doing irrigation and that where you're treading. So.
Yep, for sure. Indeed, especially when, like you say, when you got dogs. But mate, Alaskan Malamutes, they are the most beautiful dogs. I've got to say, they are unreal.
They are beautiful dogs, but I have to admit they are stubborn. So they only do what they want to do. So there's times when the dogs are buggered and I'm trying to get them in the car and they'll just like lay flat on the ground and I'm here trying to pick up 60 kilos of dog and put him back in the car so I can go on.
Mate, like lifting up a teenager, mate.
Or a drunk person.
Very good. I think it's time to move on. Number 3, mate, stripes or no stripes on fairways. Do you have a preference here for course presentation?
I don't mind stripes. I don't mind a cross cut, but when I've got to Northwest Bay, because it's a sort of a bushy, more of a natural layout. I just like the light and the dark, the shadow cut, and it goes well with the undulations and it shapes the hole. And when you get up on the tee and you can see the middle of the fairway with the light and dark, as a golfer, I think that gives you something to aim at. And when you can't see most of the fairways with some of the shots, at least you know where you're aiming. So that's definitely my preference.
Yeah, nice. Okay. Yeah, very well detailed. Thank you. Number 4, painted hole lips or not painted hole lips, mate. What's your preference here? And I will say that I know you did some work at Live Golf Adelaide this year. We caught up down there, so that's where we first met. So you got a little bit of history here in tournament prep, mate. So what's your preference here?
Yeah, I don't mind the white paint for tournaments, but when I first got to Northwest Bay, they wanted it done every Saturday, and I was like, this is just too much. Like, it's good for tournaments, but just a normal hole every other day is fine, I reckon.
Yep. Very nice, very nice. Number 5, your favourite grass variety. I like this one. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I'm a fescue man for sure. I've got it. Yeah, I've got it in my front lawn, red fescue, and people just walk past and go, they can't believe their eyes, and they're like, "Oh, how come it's so thin?" They just think everything's like ryegrass. I said, "Oh, no, this is fescue. It's a fine fescue," and they can't believe their eyes when they see how good you can get it, especially when you leave it long and whatnot. And I love hitting off it too because I don't like a lie that's too high. I like a lie that's nice and tight. So fescues you can cut them down quite nice and tight. So barn boogles and stuff like that I do quite well as a golfer on those sort of fescue type golf courses, really.
Yep, very nice. It's certainly something that's a bit more of a buzzword in Australia than probably it has ever been in the past, with the likes of the Tasmanian courses coming up and being more at the fore now, which is fantastic. So,
I think just because the price of everything's gone up, fertilizers and stuff like that, and fescues are the way to go. I think because you don't have to fertilize them as much and whatnot, so you can just let them go and they still play brilliantly.
Very, very good, mate. Very interesting. Very interesting to hear, which is great.
Mm.
Number 6, your preferred style of golf course. And this is a multiple choice, mate, so I'm not sure which ones you know or don't know, or I should say you've been to or haven't been to. We start off with New South Wales Golf Club in the eastern suburbs of Sydney over the cliffs on top of the Pacific Ocean. Or is it Royal Adelaide in the centre of Australia with a beautiful contrasting colours in the dry landscape and around their beautiful sand dunescape there? Or is it Joondalup Golf Resort in Perth, WA, the wild, dramatic features around the Quarry Course, the Lakes Course and the Dunes Course, mate? What are your thoughts there, or do you have a preference on that one?
The only one I've seen is Royal Adelaide.
Yep.
But looking at photos, you can't go past New South Wales, and I reckon I've always wanted to play there, and that would probably be on my bucket list, I reckon.
Yeah, very nice. And mate, I got to say, I'm very keen to see. I haven't seen it yet with the new redesign works that they've recently finished there as well. It's added another element of just wanting to be there, bucket list stuff. So, mate, good call. Lots of people are moving towards Royal Adelaide, but it's interesting that you've picked New South. So that's a tick to New South Wales. Very good.
Yeah, I always see pictures and I get excited. That's for sure.
Good stuff. Number 7, mate. The final one. Which golf course in Australia would you like to visit tomorrow and why? And it could be for any reason at all, if it's a bucket list or a nostalgic reason, mate. What are your thoughts here?
I'd have to go Royal Melbourne for sure. Number 1. So I haven't been there. So I've got to get there and make sure I play around there, to be quite honest. Yeah, you've got to go number 1, surely.
Wow. And we say number 1. I think a lot of us are still stuck on the fact that we know it as number 1, but there's been a little bit of change in some of the top 100s in Australia where Wickham is now named as number 1. But Royal Melbourne, regardless, is right at the top of the tree.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So there you go, mate. Royal Melbourne, it always gets a mention there by a lot of people. So a fantastic nomination for your golf course you want to visit, mate. So, Brad, thank you, mate. Great insight. Thanks for being involved in Steve Super 7 for a little bit of light-hearted introduction.
That's all right.
Mate, now we go to what the essence of the podcast conversation is all about, where I like to learn and share so that you can share to everyone listening about your greenkeeping career. I like to understand how you got into the space of greenkeeping. Is it something you fell into? Is it something you liked? Did you love your red fescue before you started greenkeeping when you were young? Mate, tell us a little bit about how you got into greenkeeping and then your journey to where you are today as superintendent at North West Bay, please.
Yeah, I'll get stuck into it. To be quite honest, I don't even think I knew what red fescue was before I started.
And I don't even know you're a Tasmanian or not, mate. Some people aren't from where they're working, so I'm keen to learn all of that.
Yeah, definitely Tasmanian, born and bred here, so I have the 2 heads. And like I say, 2 heads are better than 1.
Ah, very, very good.
Yeah, no, I grew up in a little suburb called South Arm, and for the mainlanders, you probably hear of a golf course going. Well, it's been going for the last 15 years.
It's been talked about forever, isn't it?
Yeah. So just up the road is Arm End Golf Course, which they're planning on doing a golf course up there. But it's I think they were due to open in 2015, and it's now 2025.
Wow.
And they still haven't started. So it's a very slow process, and that's just Tassie for you. We're just so slow at getting things done and getting things approved. So basically, I was going from job to job when I was younger. So between the ages of 17 and 25, I was just doing a dead-end job. And then a little fella come along. He was 6 months old, and I just said to the missus, I said, "All right, I'm going to up and leave my job, and I'm going to go do something that I want to do for the rest of my life." So I enrolled into a Hort 2 program at TAFE.
Okay.
And I wanted to get into turf area, and I didn't necessarily want to get into golf course. I just wanted to get a traineeship, basically get me started.
Yep.
And then that's where Kingston Beach Golf Club were looking for a trainee. So I got a job under Adrian Box. I learned a lot from him. He was originally from Melbourne. And he spent 10 years at Kingston Beach and did a great job there and learnt a lot from him. Only spent a year and a half, so I was meant to do a 2-year traineeship with him. And then the Llanherne Golf Club hit the super there. He retired, so he was there for 40 years. And basically they advertised, and I threw my hat in the ring, and I wasn't even qualified at the time, so I thought, bugger it, might as well try. Had a crack at that, and the club rang me and said, would I like the job? And I was like, kind of crapping myself. I was like, I'm only a year and a half in. I was just like, I already put my name in just, to see if I'd have a chance. And they rang me and said, and what they said was they were just happy with my enthusiasm, and that's a good goal for any apprentices out there. If you go to an interview, be enthusiastic. If you're not quite don't be in your shell, just be yourself. And they saw that, and gave me the job.
Wow.
Which was it was a big learning curve, that's for sure. Because I don't think it rained for the first 4 months I was there. I think I started in December or in November, so it was start of summer. And this is on the sandbelt down towards the airport. So, and they had recycled water there, and they had no filter for the pump. So basically, there's a big algae bloom happened in the recycled water dam, and I was trying to get this water out of this pump, and everything was just clogging up. And nothing would rain for 4 months, and I was scratching my hair out, and I was just like, "Oh, what have I done here? This is horrible. Like,
wow,
I can't get anything to water." So I basically got to work and got a filtration system in there. There was Llanherne as a golf club were doing really well. Like the members, coming out their bums really. Like they've got a waiting list of 100 and 150 people now.
Do they really?
Yeah. So they're a little 9-hole course, and it's really unique. So every hole's different. They've got 2 tee setups. So first tee's sort of at one end, and then the 10th tee's at the other end, and it comes into one green. So it's really unique, and it's flat. So people just love playing it, and especially when you're getting into golf. Llanherne's very popular down in Hobart area.
Mate, I just want to. I've got to jump in, mate, and ask a few questions here already. I'm intrigued by how you skyrocketed so quickly through to get the gig at Llanherne, and I want to go back to a little bit there. Just Kingston Beach is not far to the north of where you are at Northwest Bay, right? It's not too far away at all.
It's about 5 minutes away.
And it's an 18-hole golf course.
Yep, Kingston Beach is.
So
I think it's been around for a long time, I think. Yeah,
so you'd done some time there, you no doubt learnt a few things like you mentioned along the way, but then the step to go from Kingston Beach to Llanherne, and Llanherne, as you mentioned, I was lucky enough to see it when I went down, and it's nearby to 7 Mile Beach and Royal Hobart. Very close for those.
Basically right next door to Royal Hobart.
Yeah, for those that are soon to go and play there. I'm sure they will when they come to Hobart and get down now that we've talked about these courses, which is great. But you've gone in there and you've taken the reins at Llanherne. What was it like to do that? Like, how did it feel being on your own and and I'm not being rude, I don't think, when I say with a very limited knowledge bank in your training from Kingston Beach. How did you sort of go from sinking to swimming, if you like?
So Kingston is on a sort of a clay-based sort of area, soil, and then Llanherne was it's pure sand. Like it is very hard to keep water up to it. You're pretty much watering from September all the way through to May because it just doesn't hold much water. And like at first I was scratching my hair out, but I just continue to research, talk to reps, and just make a difference. If I had to stay late to get things done, I did. Especially when the pump used to clog up, I'd stay late at night just trying to get that pump going. It's just all about having a dip. It's not about taking the easy action out, just saying, I've got a 9-hole course, I'll just take it easy, I'll just mow a bit of grass. Just do everything you can to have the course in a better condition than the day before. It's just, Mate, and I enjoyed it. I just had such a passion for it. And this, if you don't have a passion for this industry, it will get you down pretty quick. Because, you obviously money's not as good as other trades and whatnot. I know a lot of people down here, apprentices, they leave to become a builder because they can make quick cash. They can make cash a lot easier. But if you stick to your guns and have a real passion for it, the money will come down the track and you'll get rewarded with that benefit. That's for sure.
And I'm glad you sort of described it that way, because I think I wanted to hear you talk about getting that passion behind what you do. Like you said, you came into the trade later than some people did, in your mid-20s, trying to find out that this is where you wanted to go and this is what you wanted to learn more about. And before you know it, you're top dog, and you've got to deal with all the decisions. But it's learning pretty quickly, is it not, that you have to lean on other people, lean on peers, ask questions, ask for a bit of help from time to time in some of those knowledge gaps that you have along the way, because you can't do it all by yourself physically, and you don't know it all, do you? So we've really got to be, I suppose, humbled in a certain respect to be able to say, hey, and stick my hand up and go, you know what, I don't know everything. There's lots of people in the industry that are all too happy to help along the way. Would that be fair?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, there's plenty of knowledge out there, and you just got to ask for it. Even we had a huge volunteer base down at Llanherne, and these blokes are in their 70s, 80s, but they've got life experience. So don't be afraid to use them. You know, we had electricians and stuff like that, and mechanics. So I'd ask mechanics to come in and fix the machinery if I didn't have time. So it's just all about asking, really.
Yeah. Yep. And not being too proud to ask as well, because you'll
right.
probably fall flat on your face, I think, if you try and do it all by yourself.
They just want to help. They just want to help and see, and they want to see the best for the course, and they want to see the best for their greenkeeper as well.
So the membership is as passionate at Llanherne as you were, no doubt, and I'm sure they still are.
Yeah. Like if you put your name down now, you're waiting a couple of years to actually get in, I think.
What did you get out of your time at Llanherne? We haven't gone through how long you were there for, but what did you get out of it?
I was there for 5 years. I got pretty much every life skill I could actually think of at Llanherne. I used to do all the mechanic work, so I used to fix all the machinery when it breaks down. Taught myself how to weld, all that sort of stuff. Irrigation, pretty much have to you pretty much had to learn irrigation as you go, because the pumps breaks. You get that desperate to fix something that you learn along the way, and you're in like deep water, but you come out of it a better person, and you learn so much. But yeah, I reckon just getting to know all the members and all the board, and working with them and their life experience, because most of them were, at retirement age. But if you ask them and ask their story, you can learn so much just from life experience with a lot of these people that are around a golf course.
Is there something in that? Do you see anything in that in a modern world that we can get more from? Are we losing some of that touch sometimes of connection with the membership? Do we feel like sometimes we get kept in a box at different situations and different clubs? I don't know. I know what I think about it. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are.
I reckon some of these smaller clubs, they do really well embracing the members and whatnot. Some of the bigger ones, they just want to, roll the members out, and they don't want to have too much of an input with them. So, and that's fair enough. There's a lot of members that would just want to, pay their fees and not deal with anything like that. So, but I'm always asking people to, put their hand up and help. And you get a few that come in and help, but most of the time they just want to sit on a mower and they don't want to do the manual handling, and that's fine. I'm happy to do the manual handling if they're going to put in a few hours of mowing some grass and just helping out.
Yep. And having that volunteer help is a big one, and a smaller course when you're on your own. Were you on your own? Did you have any other paid employees with you, or was it just you?
No, just me. So I was there for 5 years, and then I pretty much handpicked Tommy North, who's at Royal Hobart now.
Yeah, he was at Llanherne. Okay.
So I pretty much saw he was quite similar to me. He was very passionate about the industry. So when I left, I basically went to him and said, look, the club's come to me and asked me to find someone who's just as passionate and can take the course to the next level. So I got Tommy over there to have a chat to him, and he got on board with them, and he was there for a couple of years before joining Royal Hobart. And he did great work, and I did, and it's the same as I didn't want to see all my hard work for the last 5 years go to waste. So I wanted to bring someone in who knew what they were doing and would have a dip and not waste all that hard work.
Yeah. No, that's good to hear. So, you wrap up 5 years and obviously improving the course all the time. The membership was obviously happy with things. What saw you the reason to take a step away from Llanherne and go to where you went next?
I thought I gave everything to Llanherne, and I felt like I learned everything I could. So I decided to do something different, but still in the turf industry. I decided to join the Hobart City Council and learn how to, work on football ovals and soccer pitches and
Oh, wow.
do a bit of cricket wickets.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I originally enjoyed it, especially when it's summer, springtime, so everything's growing. But then sort of winter come along, cricket wickets. There was no cricket wickets to do. You just marking soccer pitches and football ovals, and just got a little bit too slow for me, especially when you're rolling cricket wickets on a Saturday and you can only go at snail pace, and it was just too slow for me. I was just thinking, I wouldn't mind getting back in the golf course because I love rolling a golf green. You can go up and down, up and down, up and down real quick. But with the cricket wickets, you're going that slow, you nearly fall on asleep. And it wasn't for me. So that's when I was there for about a year.
Okay.
And that's when Northwest Bay come and have a talk to me to go down there and run their golf course for a while.
So when was this that you made the move and then go over to Northwest Bay? Roughly what year?
It would have been. How many years have I been there? It would have been 2022, I reckon. So I've been at Super for 3.5 years, I think, at Northwest Bay now. So
right, yep.
I'm just trying to think. I've done 4 winters, I think.
We go by the winter clock.
Oh no, some years they just seem the same.
I'm curious about the stadium stuff because I hear from time to time people branch out in greenkeeping and they go to the stadiums and football ovals or cricket pitches and whatever, and they might come back, they might not. Did you find in terms of turf maintenance itself in the field side, the sports field side, was there? Is it just and I think I had this conversation with Craig Walker about bowling greens. Is it just a very, very narrow view and being so specific and so minute with your detail because it's all one type of thing?
Yeah, definitely cricket wickets. It comes down to, if the batters make a good score, they'll love the pitch. If the batters don't make a good score, they hate the pitch. If the bowlers take wickets, they love the pitch. If they don't take wickets, they hate the pitch.
It sounds like a golf course, mate.
Yeah, similar to the golf course. If you're not scoring well, there's always something wrong with the golf course.
Sounds very similar. That's an inherent part of sports turf, right? What are we preparing for? There's 2 teams in a cricket match. And the pitch has got to, does it have to suit both? Does it have to suit nobody? Does it have to be what it is and the players play around that? And there inherently the question goes to then golf. What is the golf course meant to be set up like? Is it meant to be what it is and you play golf on it? Or do you tailor it to be something else that the people playing on that grass want it to be? There's a couple of interesting points there.
Yeah, and especially if you have a tournament or have better golfers there as well, you want the greens firm. You want them running fast, so it's more of a challenge for them. If you have them too quick, too firm for the members every day, then it's probably a bit too much for them. So you can run them a little bit softer and whatnot.
Yeah, and a little bit slower, I guess, as well.
Yeah, I like to keep them fast as I can.
Got to have a real challenge. Mate, so you come in to Northwest Bay. You've been sort of asked, were you? Is that how it went?
Yeah, I sort of got light that they needed someone to get them in the right direction. So, I arranged to go down there and meet with them. It had a sort of an interview with the board, and pretty much there and then they asked me to come on board, and I accepted. I think the president at the time said I'd be a huge asset to their club, and that's what really got me excited. I said I've never heard someone say that, and that's what I think a superintendent or a good greenkeeper could be for a golf course.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. They're great words.
Yeah.
If someone has that level of confidence in you.
And it still stands out to this day that he said that.
Yeah, there you go. Unreal. Very, very impressive, mate. Very impressive. So that gets us to your journey, and I'm not trying to gloss through it, mate, but it sounds like you've made some pretty swift steps through there, but very calculated steps in your career. Did you have an intention to make them that way? Because you went from Kingston Beach, you went, very specifically to Llanherne. It was a great opportunity. You spent some time there, then you go. So did you think you were going to play it out that way?
No, not really. I sort of got into it. I just wanted a job. I just wanted to get into turf. And then I enjoyed it so much, I just started getting so ambitious. And
okay.
Yeah, and these jobs popped up. And if you don't put your hat in the ring, you're not going to get the job. So, yeah, and I've applied for other jobs and didn't get it, but I don't get bitter about it. It's just part of the industry, and it's the same as every industry, yeah. You put your hat in the ring, and you may or may not get it, and then you can choose whether you take it on board or not. So,
yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically about it.
Do you think, is there anything in that for apprentices, young people, to look at their career path moving forward? Because I did it very differently. I probably would have seen myself a bit more like a Terry Vogel or an Idris Evans that they've been at their respective clubs for a very long time. And I was probably setting myself up in a similar way because I was just passionate about where I was. Is there something in gaining that experience and testing yourself reasonably regularly, not every year, but reasonably, like as you go along? You said you learned all you could at Llanherne and you got what you could out of it and you were looking for the next step. Is that something that as a young person, as a should people be thinking about that as they're getting into this career of greenkeeping?
Oh, definitely. You just got to get out of your comfort zone. Your comfort zone's where your dreams go to die, I reckon. So, I mean, if you're happy to stay at the one course for 30 years, but most greenkeepers, they're ambitious or they like to travel and they like the lifestyle. So I reckon you get out there and take on a smaller club. If you're on a big club, if you're only a greenkeeper at a big club, go to a 9-hole course and take on theirs for a while. You learn so much more than you do underneath someone if you just put yourself out there and give it a crack.
Very impressive words, mate. I agree with you. I think that's very, very good advice, great advice for people, because I like that line, whatever it was that you said. I know I'll mess it up if I say it, but where you say if you're in your comfort zone is where dreams go to die or something. That was, mate, I like that. That's very good. I'll take that one.
I think I read too many Instagram posts.
I like it. I think, but you're right, and I see more about it at the moment. I see lots of people moving through their careers and taking some wise steps to get out of their comfort zone, experience something new. Sometimes it includes overseas work along the way, but it's hearing what you did. You did yours locally in Hobart, but you were still able to do that and get a lot from those steps. And I think that was really interesting to hear. That was my takeaway in part of what you'd done in your career getting to Northwest Bay, mate. So congratulations on your career path getting there. That's really nice to hear, mate. And good I like to hear when people stay local sometimes. I like those stories. It's a bit like how I felt in the mountains. So I connect well with those stories, mate. So well done to you and your career path in getting all the way, and you've kind of wrapped around. You've come back to down the road from where you started at Kingston Beach.
Yep. No, thank you. And basically, I did get into the industry to be able to travel and stuff like that. And as I said earlier, I had a young boy at the time. He was 6 months old. He's now 11.
Yep.
And then we had another one. So that really set us back to travel and stuff like that. And I was like, well, how about we stay here and make it work here in Tassie? Because quite frankly, I've travelled around Australia and I haven't found a better place than Tassie to raise a family.
There you go, mate. That's fantastic to hear. Incidentally, how far around have you travelled? And you say you've travelled around. You've been to a lot of corners of Australia.
Yeah, the only places I haven't been is Perth and Darwin.
Yeah,
it costs too much for Hobart. Well,
you couldn't get any further away, really, could you? That's
I want to get over there. It sounds like a great place.
There's some great. There's so many wonderful parts of our country. I certainly love exploring it myself, which is great. But mate, again, congratulations, great stuff. So
Thank
this
you.
part of the conversation, I really want to start to now get deep into the parts and the corners of Northwest Bay Golf Club, which is where you've been super at. Tell us a lot about some of the things that go on there, how you manage and maintain, and what you got to look after, mate. And if I could ask you to sort of start off with describing the landscape that Northwest Bay is on, whereabouts you are, how far from Hobart, that type of stuff, and then get into the environment that you're maintaining the course on.
Yep. Well, basically, we are the southernmost 18-hole golf course in all of Australia. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it gets cold, and it's cold right now. So, yeah, and it's on the side of a hill, and it looks over Northwest Bay, which is the bay out of Margate, which is the suburb nearby, and then you can see North Bruny Island, which a lot of mainlanders probably know. Bruny Island is quite popular destination for visitors.
Okay.
Yeah. Originally, this is what people told me, that they used to farm for loam on there, so they used to take a lot of the loam, and over the time it's just sort of washed away, and they put a golf course on it. It was originally a 9-hole course in 1965, just a public one, and then they wanted to turn it into a membership or a members course, and they managed to put an extra 9 holes in by 1970.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, and from all reports, like it was quite financial, and they used to have a lot of members and whatnot. But yeah, they're not as financial anymore, and I'll talk a bit more about that in a minute. But the new course development was created by Peter Toogood in 1990, so they rerouted a few holes and whatnot, and that's what we see today.
Right. Okay.
Half of it, or a third of it, would be sand base, so down towards the bottom end of the course is all sand, and then where they've reshaped the fairways and put fuel in, there's a lot of clay, and then at the top end there's a lot of loam. So you're basically watering or irrigating to what areas of the course have got more sand and whatnot. So the bottom end of the course will need, especially in summer, if Hobart gets so dry. And we talked about the long days. It's just really long days. So you just get so much sunlight that's just evaporating all that irrigation. So down the bottom, you need twice as much as you do at the top. So just working that out to begin with was crucial, and it took a bit of time, but it's that was the main reason why everything started to really bounce out of the ground and got going again.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the course. So
it sounds like that's a very unique type of landscape. You mentioned it's on a bit of a slope and particular aspect facing east, I think. Is that right?
Yep. So we pretty much just face east out towards the bay.
Yep.
And we're on the Channel Highway as you head towards Bruny Island. So if you want to get on the ferry at Bruny Island, you've got to go past us.
Oh, okay, righto. There you go. Mate, I love the tidbit about being the southernmost 18-hole golf course in all of Australia. That's unreal.
Yeah, that's our claim to fame, so we'll go to that.
I like it. That's more of a reason I want to get down there and have a look now, because you're not far from Hobart, are you? What are you, 20 minutes?
15.
More?
Yeah,
not 15.
Even. So, yeah. I live in Howard, which is on the eastern shore, which is more closer to Royal Hobart and Tasmania.
Oh, okay, yep.
I travel through the city, and it's 15 minutes once you hit the city down past Kingston.
15 minutes. I'm on the northern beaches of Sydney, mate. 15 minutes might get me 8 kilometres. Not even.
Well, I'm going to say
5 kilometres.
And saying this, I don't like going through town because of the traffic. Because I get held up for 5 minutes.
That's sensational. I like it. I like it. Mate, the things that I missed when I went down, mate, I was reminiscing. I went down to Hobart, I think, as you know, last November, and I got to have a look at 7 Mile, Llanherne, Royal Hobart, and so on. And I just felt comfortable. It was just like home for me in the Blue Mountains. And I like that. I miss that. They're the sorts of things. I'm not a city person at all by any stretch of the imagination, and I really loved that part about Tasmania. I loved it when I went to Barnbugle and Bridport. I loved all of that part about Tassie is just so cool to me, and Hobart is it's just a wonderful city. It's not a city, but it is a city, and it's got all the things there that you want, and you can get around so easily. Like you said, 5 minutes of traffic, 5 minutes here, it's ridiculous. And these are all pluses for people to go and visit. I think if you go down there for golf, if you've never been to Tassie for golf, and Hobart is a really easy place to go to, and it's going to have some even more wonderful golf options as we've talked about. I just think it's such a great spot to go to. Just take the time and get down there. You'll just love it, and you'll want to go back more and more.
Definitely. You're
talking about all the highlights. So great location, great situation for the golf course, and you've been around there for quite some time. As you mentioned, from the 60s, I think it was. Peter Toogood's name jumps up there. Peter Toogood's got quite a name down that part of the world for designing.
Yeah, back then I think he designed a lot of the golf course. So I think he designed Llanherne as well.
Yep.
The Llanherne used to have a golf course just up from where they are now, and they bought a bit of land because the airport owned that golf course, and they turned it into an airport golf course, a public course. The Llanherne moved down. Oh,
wow.
Yeah, and Peter Toogood designed Llanherne as well. So maybe I just follow Peter Toogood around a lot.
Easy to do. Mate, very interesting. Tell us a little bit about, if you can, the grasses that you look after on that particular site now. So we're getting down into what people are going to be playing on when they come to play golf there, how that interacts with the golf balls and the types of golf that they're going to be playing. I don't imagine it's Kikuyu or Cooch. I could be wrong, but tell us, mate, if you can, what your tees, fairways, green surrounds and putting surfaces are all made of.
Yep, no Kikuyu whatsoever. I found a bit growing in the path this year in summer, and I nuked it with Roundup.
Gone.
I was like, I don't want that anywhere here.
You don't?
So
no.
We're lucky in that sense.
You don't want that, that's for sure.
No, I hate it. It's all right if you manage it, but if you let it go, it's just, it's horrible stuff. The greens are mainly Poa, and I just love Poa greens.
Yep.
And they've been oversown over the time with bent. But this time of the year, you're probably looking at about 70% Poa greens. And towards the back end of summer, the bent starts to obviously take over. So I regulate with Primo the Poa, but obviously that doesn't affect the bent as much. So you start getting these overlaps of bent over the Poa, and then that's when you have to groom a lot more. So you could run Poa greens without grooming or anything like that. It's more grooming the bent to interact with the Poa that we go out and groom a lot. But I prefer Poa, 100% Poa, than mixing it with bent, that's for sure.
Mate, I'm going to pick your brains on that because I've had a conversation with Superintendent Craig Jeeves at Duntry League Golf Club in central Western New South Wales at Orange, and that's a region that I know well. It's a region that the Blue Mountains is that I was a superintendent at, and most of my greens were Poa. Poa in a modern world in Australia is a dirty word. Now, I don't know why it is the case, and there's lots of people that don't like it. We get told that it's a weed, and we get told that it's no good for putting surfaces, yet we watched the US Open at Oakmont, which has pure Poa greens, just the other day, right? So, mate, I want to hear more of why you think, what does it do for you to get that you can make it a good putting surface? What is it? What are the attributes that you like about it so much?
I think you can be more harsh on it in springtime. So as long as you don't stress it out and create seed head. Seed head's probably the only thing I don't really like too much about it. But come club championships, say October, November, we're cutting this Poa down to 2 mil, and it's just absolutely new.
Wow.
Yeah. And for Tassie conditions, we don't get a lot of rainfall, but we get a lot of rainy days.
Okay.
So we'll get sleets of rain, and which will keep the top sort of 2 to 4 mil of the turf wet all the time, and that Poa just loves it. Like if you're going to try and get rid of Poa out of your golf courses in Tasmania. It's going to cost an absolute fortune, and you'll be tearing your hair out, that's for sure.
That's exactly the mentality I had in the Blue Mountains, because we were similar climate in that respect, a lot warmer, obviously, being so far further north. But it was that we would have a lot of rainy days, and in time you do get a lot of rain up there in the mountains too. But do you find there's much disease pressure on POA, particularly because of those more rainy days? Not a lot of rain, though, because the leaf can stay wet, or it's okay where you are?
This time of the year, it's not too bad. We get a lot of fusarium, but the bent really sort of struggles with the cold and the frost, where the POA really thrives.
Yep.
And yeah, towards summertime, you get a lot of anthracnose on the POA, but I've talked to a lot of New Zealand mates, and they're actually getting a lot of anthracnose on their bent now. So,
okay.
It's transitioned into bent grass. So I think it's just always going to sort of, anthracnose is going to be a pain in the bum down that sort of way, but you can manage it. You use a few fungicides here and there. I don't like to use too many fungicides, but when you know that anthracnose is really going to start to take off, you throw a preventative out there every sort of 3 weeks, especially on your when the course is really busy.
It's there are those disease pressures, no doubt about it. It's some of the susceptibility of POA, which is there, that you got to manage and be watchful for and be mindful of. Mate, I can't believe you're cutting down to 2 mil. Are you serious? That's wild.
So we're cutting it 3 mil through the winter.
Yep.
And then as it starts to warm up and you get a bit more growth, then you can start knocking it down through summer, and then as it gets colder again through May, you start lifting it up. But that's pretty much our greens and how we run them.
That's just absolutely incredible. I've got to ask, and I'm more than happy for you to tell me to get back in my box. Mate, have you ever tested green speeds, or you don't work that way?
Because there's so many undulations on our greens, it's really hard to find a flat spot.
Okay.
But I work more on having consistent greens. Like if they're all running 10, and every green's running 10, I'm happy.
Yep.
But yeah, we try and quicken them up for special occasions and whatnot. So and a lot of members just say, how consistent they are, and that's all I want.
That's it.
Green.
Yep. 100%.
So they're doing the same putt every green they come to.
Mate, I just appreciate you just explaining a little bit more about the POA, and I like the fact that you've talked about POA in a different way, because, like I said, in Australia I find that POA is a dirty word, and I tell lots of people I had about 90-10 split on POA bent on my greens is what they were. It had patches of bent around it you could see, but they were mostly POA, and I didn't tell people because most people didn't like the idea that they were putting on POA greens. If they knew what they were, I think it would prejudice their thoughts. I don't know if you get that down there in Tasmania, but I think we get that up here. Actually, I don't think we do. We do get that up here in the mainland. So
I don't ever think most golfers down here wouldn't even know what kind of grass it was, as long as it's putting right.
That's another point, isn't it? As long as it's putting well, it doesn't really matter. What about your fairways, mate? Fairways, surrounds. What have you got?
Fairways, we've just got a mix of everything, really. So the drier areas that I mentioned, Fescue is actually starting to really take over there.
Okay.
And the loamier sort of areas, we're trying to oversow with rye, and sort of bent gets into the clay areas where there's dips of water and stuff like that.
Yep.
So, the bent down here, just especially the old Pencross, it really dries up in summer and doesn't like it too much. So on the hilly sort of side of things, Fescues really take over those areas.
Interesting stuff, and but also very interesting to hear, because, and I'll go back to your comment before about a lot of golfers don't know what they're playing, but your cool season mix is essentially what you have. Yeah,
everything's cool season. There was one little area down on the 12th fairway that was always really dry, so I'll try and chuck out a bit of cooch seed in the summer and see if it takes, and there is a bit there, so that's hopefully in a few years that'll take off. But yeah, as soon as the cold weather comes, it just stops growing. Llanherne was pretty good for cooch.
Okay.
Because on the sand, it would stay quite warm, and it actually through winter would actually stay green.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, even with massive frost, like you get really bad frosts down there at Llanherne, and there's this. You'll go to a patch of cooch and it's green. I'm just like, wow, this stuff is tough.
That's unreal. Do you know what sort of cooch that was?
It just looked like your common cooch.
The common cooch that you got,
because it's so hardened.
Yep.
It was just like we should take a little bit and sell it.
Someone can make money out of that one somewhere potentially. But no, interesting. This is all very much about learning for people listening as well, and it's unearthing what the environment's like, what you deal with down there in Tasmania. I don't think we talk about it enough throughout the broader parts of Australia. So it's good to learn and understand a little bit more in the very unique climate that is in Tasmania. So, mate, thank you for sharing.
You mainlanders think we're part of New Zealand, don't you?
Well, you're at a similar latitude. We'll leave it at that. But I don't know if we'd say, maybe some do. I don't know. But yeah, mate, there you go. But I'm branching out into New Zealand now. So we like the New Zealanders because I'm talking about having more of them involved in the podcasts coming along, which is fantastic.
Definitely. So they're all good fellas, the New Zealanders.
Absolutely. And you touched on it earlier, saying that you talk to, in terms of talking to peers and understanding, you talk to some of the New Zealand supers, do you?
Yeah, I had so we had a TMA conference in Devonport this year, and I invited Spencer Cooper. He's a South African that works over there. I don't want to say it because
that's okay.
New Zealand golf courses are so hard to say.
You'll get it wrong.
It's in the middle of North Island. Wairaki Golf.
Oh, is it Wairaki? Yeah,
Wairaki. Yeah.
I don't even know, mate. I'm learning.
They're also hard to say. I thought just pick a normal name and so we can say it. Yeah, so he came over for a week and stayed at my house, and it was the first time he's been to Tasmania. He absolutely loved it, and Barnbougle was on his bucket list. So we went from Devonport. It was about a 3-hour drive over to Bridport, and I took him over there to have a look. And he's played a lot of golf courses around, and he reckons Barnbougle was probably one of the best he's ever played.
There you go. Mate, that's great. Great to hear, and great that you're talking with peers in New Zealand. I say similar climate and environment to a bit more to New Zealand than what it is to mainland Australia. So good to know that these are the things you do, right? As a super, you just talk to people and learn. You keep learning.
Yep.
Can't say it enough. Mate, curious to know from a maintenance side of things, what makes up your team? How many people have you got? What does it take to look after Northwest Bay and get the most out of the golf course?
Takes a lot of effort because there's only 3 of us.
Oh, wow, 3.
Yeah. So I'm very hands-on. Alex is qualified. He qualified late last year. And you would have met Alex probably over at Live Golf.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we took to reward him for his getting qualified. I got the club to pay for us to go over to Live and volunteer for a week over there. So he was thrilled with that. So, and then we've got a second-year apprentice, Riley. So we've got me, who's the super, and then Alex, who's qualified, and Riley's the second-year apprentice. And, he's going great guns.
There you go. 3 people for 18 holes.
Yeah, it's a 50-hectare site too.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so it's all about time maintenance, being organised, getting the boys to know what they're doing early on, so they get in, they're straight out, not sitting around drinking coffees all day. And and that's the way they like it because they're keeping themselves busy. They're not, sitting around feeling sad. There's nothing to do. Mind you, this time of the year when there's frosts and it's a bit wet on the fairways, it's we're struggling for a few things to do. But there's plenty of bush down where we are, so there's plenty of firewood to chop up.
I remember those winter jobs, mate. There's always things to clean up and tidy up that you never get a chance of doing in the growing season. So you make the most of it in winter, and they can be long, cold days at the same time.
Yeah, you got to do what you can in winter to make it easier for yourself in spring. That's for sure.
Absolutely, mate. You touched on the idea of taking you guys over to Live to volunteer, and the club was obviously a key part of that in paying to get you over there. Do you see those type of things that clubs can do to look after their staff? Is that a good thing? Does that keep people really interested and motivated and wanting to work? We talked on the idea of that it's not always the greatest paying job or role. Are these some of the things that help? Because I see a lot of clubs don't do this stuff, and I've been part of where they turn them down, and I think that greatly hurts. And these aren't, you're not giving someone a $10,000 pay rise to send them to live, for example. Is that the sort of thing that helps support the core that you have that are working on a golf course? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, definitely. Everyone should have a chance to do these sort of things. It's hard enough keeping people at your course working there. Like it's you're getting up early. Sometimes it could be a bit tedious, some of the work. So you've got to make it fun for them. And if the boys are done all their work and it's coming to 2:00 and we knock off at 3, I say, go home. I say, but I expect them to, when it's busy, just stick around for an extra half an hour just to get things done. So you've got to be so flexible with that sort of thing. And I think in today's world, flexibility is everything with work.
Mate, I was going to say, I do remember that, and you're quite right about remaining flexible and trying to keep people motivated, especially in a small team when it's pretty full on. You want when your game face is on and it's all go, you want everyone to be all in. So I kind of think that it's great and it's very important to have that support from within the clubhouse, from the people up in the offices and the boardrooms to be able to back up the superintendent. Says, hey, we want to make sure that we can keep everyone motivated, because when I need that extra bit of work and when the course is crying out for those extra couple of hours here or there, we want to make sure that we can do that. And then when it's a little bit cooler, you get a few different things as well. It's good to keep people knowing that the team is being supported, not just from the superintendent leading the team, but also from the club itself, I think is very important.
No, definitely. Like I say, a workplace isn't a jail. So if the boys need to go to a doctor's appointment, or they've got to go take their child or their niece to daycare, up and go. Like, just send me a message, let me know you're gone, bang, up you go. So that makes a hell of a difference.
It does. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mate, very good there's a great deal of work for three of you on the golf course. That's very impressive indeed. And no doubt, I'm sure it's certainly busy times when it's the growing season. Mate, are there any particular challenges that you've faced maintaining the turf at Northwest Bay? Like anything that stood out in your time there that's been more of a challenge than other times, something that's come out of the box and you've had to think outside the box to solve?
Oh, yeah. When I first started, I reckon the biggest challenge was getting the irrigation system up and working again. It was an old hydraulic system put in.
Oh, they're hard work.
Yeah, so it would have been 1990, I reckon, that would have put in. And, basically got there and all the hydraulic little pipes, they were all blocked and whatnot. Oh. And so you turn one thing on, something else comes up and whatnot. I'm just like, wow, this is crap. And so basically we had satellites all over the place where, they couldn't even put them on automatically. You had to go out and turn the valves on and stuff like that for them actually to come on. And then some of the sprinklers wouldn't even pop up. So, yeah, basically we organised to do an overhaul of that irrigation system.
Yep.
And I think the club had about 20 grand to 30 grand to work with.
Oh,
so
wow.
They got given a bit of money from Tas Water for a bit of work that happened down on the 12th. So they said to me, we've got this money, what can you do? And I was like, well, probably not a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, you talk about spreading that thin.
Yeah. So then we got Elwick Racecourse were actually redoing their irrigation system. For some reason, they do it every 2 years. They got the money. So we were happy to take their second-hand controller and 150 in-valve sprinkler heads. So,
wow.
Yeah, so that took about 10 grand, I think. So we're looking pretty good. But then we had to find someone to actually put the sprinklers in.
Yep.
That's when it was up to me and Alex to replace 150 sprinklers in the fairways.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. So that would have been the first winter I got there.
Oh,
So we replaced all those sprinklers, got them in perfectly, but we didn't have enough time. Spring hit us. We didn't have enough time to run any Dakota wire to them.
okay.
So we had to wait for the following winter. So all that summer we had to go out there and manually put them on while the
Oh,
pump was going. So
yeah, yep.
they were long hours. That was probably like I said, we put in the hard work in the first year. And then the second year, that winter, we ran 3 kilometres of Dakota wire to each sprinkler, and got it all up automatic. And pretty much the whole course is can be put on automatically now, and I can actually go home and get some sleep during the summer months.
Mate, that is an unbelievable journey. What a great experience that is, certainly for Alex, but so much hard work. But the what you get from completing that project, not only the feeling of being able to do the project with the money that you had available to you and finding a way to solve that problem and thinking outside the box, mate, congratulations. That is an epic journey.
Thanks.
That is unreal.
We had a couple of volunteers. They mentioned that they were electricians, and they're like, "We'll come wire up the sprinklers for you." I think one of them did too. Went to lunch and never come back. So I was like, "Alex, we've got another 150 sprinklers we've got to wire up."
Wow, what a project! That's you'd be. I imagine you would be incredibly proud of finishing that job and what it allows you to do. Obviously, being the ones out there utilising the system, but that year in between, you talked about it being manual. I only know that way. We didn't have a system where I was, so it was always flag keys on our heads, just turning them on and off and doing whatever. But that's, mate, to get that up and going, that is an incredible project to finish.
Yeah, no, super proud of Alex for sticking with me as well. I had my daughter there as well, so she was playing tricks on him every time he would pick up a sprinkler. She would go pick up all his tools and run down the hill with him, and I'd yell over to Alex and go, "Why are you going so slow? I'm putting that many more sprinklers in than you."
Wow, no,
he's like, "I wonder why."
That's a great and no doubt a great improvement for the club. So everyone can then see the benefits of doing all of that and having that up and running for you for the golf course to be able to present it better than what it used to be done, and you've got the flexibility now with an automated system that you can do that. Mate, that is I know what it means to have that, right? From where I was. So I'm sitting here going, and nothing against people out there working on big courses that have already got all this infrastructure. I just know what it's like to not have that at all, or have it in part or manual. So to have it there and having it finished, that'd be the most unreal bonus that you would have just had. So moving forward,
it's very rewarding. And when I was an apprentice at Kingston, we actually had to water some of the fairways with travellers, like irrigation travellers.
Yep.
And only recently, Tom Filtness he's been upgrading their irrigation system, so most of it's all automatic now. So. He's done good up there as well.
Good to see that the golf courses around are getting, and this lifts the playability, lifts the conditioning of the golf course, and the way it can be maintained. So it's these are all good things that are happening, mate. So congratulations to yourself, a team, and the club. What a great thing that is to finish, mate. Adding to that and then leading into there is your water source. What do you guys have for water down there, if you don't mind me asking?
We've got 2 dams. So one dam waters the fairways, and the big dam, which is off the left-hand side of the 18th, that has runoff from the road. So every time it rains, all the gutters fill up and runs down into the dam. So that runs the greens and the tees. So it holds a fair bit of water, but it's probably not enough. So we've got a creek out the back that runs along the 13th, and we were able to pump up into these dams to keep them full. So, but one of the trickiest things with that is Dipipwe doesn't allow us to pump up during the summer months. And I was like, well, that's stupid because I'm going to need it in the summer. So,
oh, wow, that's hard.
They allow you to pump it up through winter when you don't need it because it's raining and you're not using it. But
so what are those regulations? What's that behind? Who sets those?
Dipipwe, I don't know what it stands for. The Department of, it's just like environment.
Oh, okay, and that's a Tasmanian thing.
Yeah,
Right.
it must be a Tasmanian thing.
Okay,
so,
okay.
Yeah, because they want, when it rains in summer, they want the Northwest Bay to get flushed out and cleaned out. But
Okay.
I did make the argument they put a fish farm on the corner of Northwest Bay. So if they were really worried about the environment, they would have got rid of the fish farm instead of stopping us from pumping water.
We'll leave that one alone because there is a lot of contentious thoughts and things around some of those fish farms. So I won't go near that.
Talks, unfortunately.
Well, it does. It always has, and I've got no doubt it always will. Right? It's one of those things. Mate, I want to hear from you. You've been there for a few years now. What is a favourite location of yours on the golf course? Because I like to hear that from people who work there day in, day out. The golf courses that come to play might not see, they might miss by accident. There's a nice place on the course that's good to go to and take it all in. What's one of your favourite places on the course that you like so much?
Oh, it'd have to be the clubhouse bar, wouldn't it? Enjoying the beer and the view.
Fair point. I didn't see that coming. I probably should have seen that coming, but I didn't see that coming.
No, I do like the creek area down on 13. So,
okay.
It's somewhere where I can hide and no one annoys me.
Yeah, okay.
There's heaps of wildlife down there. The eagles fly through there. I take my daughter down there and she watches the echidnas. And
wow.
There's some big snakes that live down there. The dogs like swimming in the creek, but obviously I don't take the dogs when the snakes are around.
Yep. No, very good. That's a nice spot. For people when they go down. That's cool. Good to hear. Good to hear. You recently did some work on the golf course, construction wise, redoing it. Is your 16th green? I think you redid.
Yep.
Mate, curious to know the catalyst behind that. Why did the club and yourself decide that was the green to do some work on? And can you go through in detail with us just what you did?
Yeah, the 16 green just wasn't fair enough for all types of golfers. There was 2 greens on the course when I started. It got talked about a lot. That was just too horrendous to sort of play on. That was the 3rd and the 16th. So last winter, same time last year, we did the 3rd up. And this year we're doing the 16th, which we just completed last week.
And when you say that, that's the slopes on the greens for putting and holding the greens with shots coming in. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, like the 3rd and the 16th, you could pretty much hit a high ball into the middle of the green and it will still end up anywhere but the green.
Yeah, wow, okay.
Yeah,
old school.
So, I've played the 3rd when it got up a bit windy and the ball was actually sitting on the 3rd and the wind would just blow it off. And I was like, no, this is way too unfair.
Yep.
So they basically had too much slope on it, but in the middle of both those greens, they had like a hump. So it'll hit the green, but then trickle over the hump and then take off. So what we did was we sod cutted it with our team of 3, ripped it all off, re-leveled it with the blade on the tractor, got some good soil in, just got it right, and then we put it all back on and top dressed it, and then we just continued to roll and top dress for a few months until the spring sort of hit, and then we're back in play in October. So
yeah, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Unreal turnaround.
Yeah.
Interesting to do those changes. The club are there any others that the club looks that they might need to consider in the future, or they're really the major problem ones that have been solved now?
They're the 2 major ones. There is probably some other ones that could do with some better soil underneath. There's a lot of like pushed up greens that have just like there's a lot of fill with crappy clay, and it's just horrible to work with. So They probably need to be redone. And we've cleared some land out the back of the course as well. And we had plans of doing a 19th hole. So if we had 19 holes, we could take 1 hole out and redo it all up and still have 18 holes. So that would still be on the works, no doubt. It's just a matter of finding a bit of time to actually get that done.
Yeah, okay. In time, not everything has to happen now, does it? You do have to stage things out as you go along. But good to see you're able to do some of that work with your small. I mean, go back to 3 guys for 18 holes. There's going to be people out there listening that have 3 people work on sections of a golf course. You got 3 people that work on an entire 18-hole course. And you mentioned it was 50 hectares?
Yeah, 50 hectares.
50 hectares.
And Spencer, who I had over from New Zealand, he had a team in South Africa of 96.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm like, 96? I was like, what do you actually get him to do? And he actually said it was hard for him to actually find him things to do because there was so many people.
Mate, I had Katoomba was 29 hectares, a very small 18-hole golf course. It was right butt up against each other, 29 hectares. And that was busy with three guys. We went down to two, admittedly, at one point, which was very, very difficult. But you got three people for 50 hectares. That is incredible.
Yeah, like when I first started, there's just like overgrown bush all the way around, like the holes and around the outside. There's blackberries everywhere.
Yeah.
And look, even in winter, I'd get out there with the whippersnipper or the brush cutter and just start going to work on it, clear it all up, make it clearer through these bush areas so that, quickens play up. And it's really opened up the course, and it's made it, the maintenance a lot easier, especially when we're actually busy.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got no doubts. Mate, you're part of the TSTMA, is that what it is? Tasmanian
Sports. I'm the committee of the Tasmanian Managers Association, basically. So.
So you're seeing young people in getting into the trade, obviously outside where you are at Northwest Bay. You're obviously seeing the training. You're helping people get through their careers. You're connecting peers throughout the state of Tasmania. How have you seen it change in the time that you've been involved in greenkeeping through your career? Have you seen much change in Tasmania through being involved in your time, but then also being part of the committee itself? And some of the things, can you tell us any of the things that you're trying to do to improve the industry down there?
A lot of change. A lot of people, like Phil Hill from Barnboogles retired, Steve Lewis from Royal Hobart, he retired. So when I got in the game, there was a lot of these supers that have been in the industry for a long time and have done a great job. Danny Gilligan at Tasmania. So that in the last 3 or 4 years, they've all sort of retired at the same time.
Yep.
And now we're starting to get a lot of these young guys coming through that getting given a chance, and they're doing great guns. And you see that they want to prove something, and they've all got a passion for it. So it's lifting the standard of the golf courses in Tasmania because, I see what's happening at Tassie, and, I'll go to my course and we discuss how can we improve, how can we be better, sort of thing. So it's all going down the line, and the golf courses are just getting better and better in that sense.
It's great to hear from that angle because, and that probably leads me to talking a little bit about some of those shiny new toys that we touched on earlier, is that it's great that when you come to Tasmania now and into the very near future, but also now, that you don't need to people aren't going to come down and see a second world golf course and these other courses that they've never heard of. They've never heard of a Kingston Beach probably, or a Northwest Bay, or a Pittwater even, a Llanherne, but they will come to Tasmania for 7 Mile, as we know. They're going to come to Tasmania for the Barnboogles of the world, as we know. But they're going to be able to enjoy the other golf courses. They're going to enjoy the Northwest Bays, the Kingston Beaches, and so on, that they probably have never heard about, and they go, you know what? Where's a good place I can fit in around that? I've got my bookings done over there, but I can come and play and experience a high quality level of golf and not feel like you're in a third world country golf experience that's rough around the edges. It's a rough golf course. You guys are providing as good a golf course as any in a lot of these other courses, and you talked about it's lifting the game and some of the passion behind the turf managers and superintendents now is taking it to that next level because they can and they want to be, and you're getting more connected and learning more than ever in recent years as well, I reckon.
Yeah. Probably, the thing is with Tasmanian golf courses, there's not enough people for the amount of golf courses we have. So there's always plenty of spots to come and play. It's not like Melbourne where, you just can't get onto the golf courses. But every course here, and especially Southern Tasmania, has their place. Like they're all so different. You go play Royal Hobart and then you come and play Northwest Bay. It's completely different. Like it's bushland sort of slopies where Royal's all flat, easier to walk, but they all have their place. And I enjoy every single one of them, to be fair. And and yet you're paying, say, $50 to $70 for 18 holes down here, and you get good enjoyment out of it. So if you've got the time, pop in and see some of these courses, because you won't be disappointed.
I really think that's a big thing that's driving in the background of golf in Tassie because if people are going to travel to Tassie just for the big names, I think they're going to miss out on a lot of what Tasmania has to offer now that we're seeing these improvements and the way that golf courses are being maintained, like the Northwest Bays, as I say. We'll talk about where you're working, because that's really something that you're going to get a lot more. You're going to learn a lot more about the local people, the local way of life, and really get that intimate, close understanding of what it's like to enjoy golf in Tasmania, because that's something as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's so much noise about the sort of the 7 Mile beaches and stuff like that, because they do such a good job in advertising, and they're public courses, so they want the visitors to come down. But with Northwest Bay, it's because it's on the western shore, south of Hobart. Visitors travel from the airport, which is on the eastern shore, to town, and they just do that sort of route quite often, instead of heading out to the other suburbs south and stuff like that. So if you're in town, grab a hire car and go around, because that's the best way to see Hobart, because you're not going to get stuck in traffic very often, and you can get around so easy.
Yeah, and even if it is all of 5 minutes of traffic.
Don't worry, I seem to find every traffic. I've only got 5 traffic lights, and I seem to get them every time.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic, mate. There's some great offerings now around the place, and that's what I wanted to try and highlight by talking to someone like yourself at Northwest Bay. That's not a big name course in Tassie and certainly in Hobart. That people can look outside those big names, look outside and go, you know what? I want to go and find and scratch the surface of what else there is to play and experience in golf in Tasmania, because it's our own version, and it's as close as we're going to get to the British Isles in golf. It's a similar climate. It's all that we have. We don't have it anywhere else in Australia. It's so unique to the Apple Isle. And I think it's really important that even the mainlanders can go and experience something like a throwback to the UK. And you've got some wonderful landscapes and some beautiful sites for golf courses. And as they continue to improve, and as people get a better understanding that are maintaining courses on different parts of architecture and turf maintenance and what you can play with and get out of it, I really think as the years go by, with more visitors to Tassie for the big names, you're going to hopefully see, and I'd love it to see, that the other golf courses like yourself, and I'm not saying that in a derogatory way, I'm saying that you're the background there that people can also lean on and experience a more intimate version of Tasmanian golf, which is something that I'm excited to see continue to grow and foster.
Yeah, I'd love to see sort of all the clubs get together and promote golf in Tasmania as a whole. So whether that's doing packages or, a combined advertisement to the mainland, saying, these are our golf courses. Make sure you plan around all of us as well, and do a trip and spend more time here. And that'll help the tourism and the economy as well.
100%. It's so, like I go back to, it's so easy to get to. Right, it's just you can fly from Sydney or Melbourne, and the two biggest cities in Australia. It's so easy to fly into Hobart. It's so easy to fly into Launceston, depending on which end of the island you want to be on. It's just it's not as far as you think. It's so short a trip. It was further to us to travel a lot further to obviously get to Perth from Sydney, or even to North Queensland, than it is to get to Hobart. I think it's an hour and a half in the air from Sydney. It's nothing. Yeah. It's nothing. I used to travel that far to go to a shopping centre from the Blue Mountains nearly in the car. It's ridiculous. So easy, mate. So, mate, maybe we can talk about now that you are looking to change your career path as it stands. What have you got in mind?
So as of 21st of July, I'm going to take on the sports turf teacher at TAFE. So I'll be teaching the up-and-coming apprentices in our industry, which is I'm a bit excited about, actually.
that's a different path that you go down. It's obviously there's a fair bit of passion in becoming a teacher in TAFE. It's a combined of both passions, I gather, to be able to train young people, and you've still got the turf side of things very much in the forefront of what you're going to be doing.
Yeah, this year actually started helping out as an assistant coach at the under-18s football at Lauderdale. So I was quite nervous actually getting into that. And then once, a few weeks went by, I was really enjoying it. And I was like, I liked seeing the smiles and the enjoyment on young kids' faces. And hopefully I'll bring that, towards the TAFE system and actually teach these young apprentices what they can get out of this industry and out of their careers and their enjoyment. So you've got to enjoy what you do. If you don't, then there's no point being in the job.
No, 100%, mate. It's exciting times for you ahead in doing that. I think I can speak for saying that the young people that are going to be coming through the TAFE system in Tasmania, certainly in Hobart, from the turf side of things, are going to have someone passionate like yourself leading them and coaching them and teaching them on all the different parts that are involved in the trade of greenkeeping and turf. So, mate, that's great to hear. It's great to hear that you're going to be passing more of your knowledge on to a great deal more people than you're probably able to do at Northwest Bay, which is fantastic for the industry down there in Tassie, mate. So congratulations.
No, thank you. And like the industry is going to really sort of take off if we get this stadium up and about. 7 Mile. They might look at putting in another golf course too. So there'd probably be 2 golf courses down there, and then you got Amen. So you'd be looking at probably another 10, 15 apprentices just down south of Tasmania. So, I've got my work cut out for me.
It's very exciting what the sports turf industry has ahead for it in Hobart. And you mentioned 7 Mile with the North Course. I've interviewed Rob Collins, one of the architects that'll be involved in there. So that will be coming. That's very, very exciting. And, mate, it's great to see. Where does that leave Northwest Bay then for the position of superintendent, mate?
So Alex Wayman, he's going to take over. So he was my apprentice when I started. So he's gone from leaps and bounds. He had a bit of a rough start to his apprenticeship. He was actually when they killed 6 greens, I think it was. They accidentally got sprayed with Roundup. So he learnt pretty quickly and sort of got a bit scared to get out of his comfort zone or get out of his box, because that all sort of happened to him, and it nearly financially ruined the golf club. So and I came on board, and he was just after a bit of structure and whatnot, and he has a real passion for it, and he took as much as he could off me and learnt so much off me that I recommended him to the board, and he lives close by, so I could see the passion in his eyes, so they're going to be left in good hands.
Mate, that's fantastic to hear that Alex will be able to take on the role as superintendent and take the golf course to the next level again, which is fantastic to see. He'll be able to move from what you've been able to do, and he can continue on from that. And obviously, he doesn't know that we've just talked about him on the pod like this, so that's great.
It might make it better.
But and that early time, we all get knocked around in our early times in many different ways and forms. So that would have knocked his confidence around a big deal, no doubt, and you've been able to help him rebuild that confidence, get more confident in what he does, and become a better turf manager, to the point where now he's come full circle to take on the reins of superintendent at Northwest Bay. So it's great to hear that Northwest Bay Golf Club are in good hands moving forward as they transition from yourself, mate, into Alex's time. And I certainly look forward to hearing more about Northwest Bay and how it continues to improve, mate. So, Brad, it's a great way to finish up our conversation, I think, with virtually passing on the reins in very few in the coming weeks off to Alex, mate. So I've got to say thank you. I've got to say congratulations on your time and your career. Everything that you've gone through and told us about Northwest Bay has certainly put it on the map in Hobart, in Tasmania, for everyone listening. So hopefully they'll take the opportunity and spend a bit of time to get down there and see what it's all about. But, mate, thank you And like I said, and congratulations, you had a wonderful career that's taking a new phase. But to get you involved in the trade of greenkeeping, into sports turf, the places you've moved through in locally into Hobart, and now you're going to be passing on all of your knowledge and skills and training the next batch of young superstars in turf coming through the Hobart system, mate. So it's great to have you on the podcast, Superintendent Brad Palmer. I really do appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
What were your thoughts on that, ladies and gentlemen? Brad Palmer, what a fantastic bloke, a dead-set, down-to-earth champion, and someone who's really flying the flag for Tasmanian sports turf and greenkeeping. A dead-set champion, what a great yarn. He's such a casual bloke. And you know what? It stemmed from when I first met him when we went to live. I mentioned it there. We went to Live Golf Adelaide earlier in the year, and it was great to not only meet Brad, didn't know him from the next person I was walking past. And, we had a good yarn down there. And I thought, you know what? I wanted to get some more insight from different parts of the country that are outside a lot of the places we know, and hearing about Brad's story and knowing that he worked at Northwest Bay Golf Club. And I thought, you know what? I think I want to hear a little bit more or a lot more about Brad's story, about what Northwest Bay Golf Club is like, what it has to offer. And it was just a great extension on Tasmanian golf. And like I said, Brad is flying the flag down there. He is very passionate. He is down to earth. He is all about Tasmanian golf and sports turf. And as you've heard, he's now going to be passing the baton on to Alex to be able to take the reins here as superintendent at Northwest Bay Golf Club, as Brad now gears up to do something different, and that is now to pass on all of his experience and knowledge to the upcoming superstars coming through the turf industry as apprentices down there in Hobart. And we talked about a lot of things happening down that way with this new stadium that they're talking about, the new golf courses around at 7 Mile Beach and Arm End, for example. Look, Tasmania has something really special to offer, and I wanted to be able to talk to Brad and be able to convey that to you, the audience, because I've spoken to a few people about Hobart and golf in Hobart and golf in Tasmania, and I think it's got so much to offer on the names that we don't know, the intimate courses and experiences that you'll have of some of the golf clubs that have been around a lot longer than the shiny new toys, as I call them. So there's a lot of depth and breadth coming in at Tasmanian golf, and I think it is only going to go up. And I look forward to when we might see a Highland golf course somewhere down there that's a brand new build, something a little bit different, away from the oceans and away from those wonderful seascapes that we have and those beautiful dune landscapes around and some of the remote island courses. I would love nothing more than to see a Highland golf course somewhere in Tassie. I'm not familiar with Tasmania in all of its different topographical components and different landscapes around the island. I've only been there a couple of times, and it's literally to Barnbugle and to Hobart. I would love nothing more than to travel around and see more of Tasmania myself. But in lieu of that, I do talk to some people who have travelled Tassie, and I do look at different parts of Tasmania and maps and satellite imagery and know a little bit about how to try to understand the landscape. And I just think I would love to see a really good Highland course down there, something really special and befitting the beautiful, unique landscape that is Tasmania in a different way. So maybe there's something in that, maybe there isn't, I don't know. But overall, what is existing in Tassie and what's coming soon to Tassie is fantastic. And talking to someone like Brad Palmer and talking about a place like Northwest Bay Golf Club was really exciting to me, and it certainly brought out some of the special parts that we can experience as golfers down there. And I, for one, want to get down and see Northwest Bay myself. So really excited about the opportunity to do so in the very near future. And a very big thank you to Superintendent Brad Palmer for his time and his openness in sharing all of those stories as part of his career and Northwest Bay Golf Club and how it's moving forward in leaps and bounds. So thank you to Brad. Ladies and gentlemen, please like, share, subscribe. That's what the podcast can do so well, and reaching different and new people and a new audience, listeners, is the more you do, the more it helps it get around. So please like, share, and subscribe. Please make sure you click subscribe so when the new episodes come out, you get straight into it. That'll alert you what's going on. And any reviews that you can write about the podcast is greatly appreciated, ladies and gentlemen. It goes a long way to spreading the word about the podcast and what it's doing, where its reach is going, and just what's some of the core values are about what we want to talk about and what I want to talk about and share and showcase about the wonderful golf courses around Australia, and not only Australia, but also soon to encompass some interviews and golf courses from New Zealand. So, ladies and gentlemen, I really do appreciate it. It's with your help that this continues to go further and further once again. A big thank you to John Deere Golf for their continued support and now their future support for another 12 months, another year going around for Keeper of the Greens. And make sure you do check out their website at deere.com.au. That's deere.com.au, and check out what they've got available for you to consider and look at to be able to help you look after your golf course better and provide better turf surfaces with their machinery. Ladies and gentlemen, they have been around a long time and they continue to support our industry in such a fantastic and passionate way. And you can always go back and listen to some of the other episodes that I've had as well to hear some more information about them just the same. But the best way to do is to check out their website so you can get in touch with them and find out what they can do to help you with some of the gear that they have on offer. Ladies and gentlemen, I will leave you with it once again. You hit 'em clean, we'll keep 'em green, and I'll catch up with you very soon.